welcome to the show. I'm Tosh Taylor.
And I'm Jenna Morton. And this episode, we are going to blow you away with the story of the Trojan Trek and the fundraising they do for the Moncton Hospital. We are going to start the show with two students from Student Council at Harrison Trimble. Abby and Jesse, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
For having us.
Thank you so much for coming in. And for those people who are listening to the podcast, not watching the video of it, we need to let them know you have come in full Trojan wear.
Of course we have. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what you look like right now.
Okay, so I have on a toga. So basically a toga is like our big thing for Trojan Trek, like because we're Trojans. So we like to wear our togas for like when we're celebrating Trojan Trek, but only during Trojan Trek.
Oh.
So it's a special outfit just for the next 3 weeks. And then we also have our friend, little zebra stick, Ryan Stripes. Ryan Stripes is our spirit stick we bring to any games and any Trimble events. You can only come to Trimble events though.
I love that. So he just comes because he's a spirit.
The crowd loves him.
Perfect.
He's a fan favorite. And they just love Ryan.
Well, yeah, because like we bring it to like conferences, stuff like that. Like anything that we bring it to, other schools are like, "What is that?" And then they're inspired by it, and it's just something that we have that's pretty cool.
That's amazing. And your togas are your maroon colors for the school.
Mm-hmm.
Can any student wear a toga during Toga Trek time?
So anyone can wear a toga. Like we're not just saying no, but so we have this thing called beggar buckets because Trojan Trek's all about raising money, which we'll probably get into further. And just we get we have grade reps where they all wear togas like on their specific day that they're doing it. So today specifically is grade 9 day. So all the grade 9s will be wearing, or like all the grade 9 grade reps will be wearing togas, which we have like 6 of, and they just go around begging for money pretty much.
Yes, and if that sounds odd, it's so fun to watch because I now have a Trimble student, so I've been dropping her off in the mornings this week, and each day there's another group of students with these little buckets at the door shaking them and asking for money, and I watched so many teachers go back to their cars because they forgot their money.
Yeah.
So let's talk about why you're raising this money. What is the Trojan Trek for?
Okay, so Trojan Trek started in 1981, and it started with a student that we had at our school, Kier Colpitz. So Kier had this skin disease that only can be treated in Germany. So when a bunch of students found out about it, they started raising money so Kier can go to Germany to get the treatment. So after Kier graduated, people still really liked the thought of kids helping kids and everything. And after landing on donating to a bunch of different causes, we really landed on donating to the Friends of the Moncton Hospital to support the NICU. So we've been doing it for so long at this point. Our goal, we raised, I think, over $440,000, I want to say.
Wow.
Yeah. And we're all just passionate about it. Yes, we get so passionate about it. That's when the beggar buckets come in, because when you get someone who's really bold, they'll come up to your car, they'll start they'll shake their buckets and everything. Raising money is just so passionate for us, especially about Trojan Trek. We all get so excited about it.
So we're talking about the beggar buckets, but there must be, to raise that much money, there must be a bunch of other ways that we're doing it as well.
Yeah, we have a bunch of different fundraisers because it's normally a 2-week long event. This year we were able to get it long to 3 weeks because we have less school days in the weeks now. So let's say on Monday we'll have a specific barbecue or something like that where we actually have a recently we just had a sale walking tacos where we had in the cafeteria we got a bunch of volunteers, we got a bunch of donations where we just cooked a bunch of taco stuff, opened a bag of Doritos, and we just put inside there, and we raised a lot of money doing that. We also get donations from businesses, and we're also doing a bottle drive soon.
Fantastic.
Next weekend. Yeah. So you guys might see us around going door to door for that.
Fantastic. And I would imagine at this point there's a lot of alumni now that have come through and done the Trojan Trek and come back and support it as well.
Yes, I find also, just because if you've gone to Trimble, you always feel like you're at Trimble. So, for instance, my stepdad went to Trimble, and my mom and I will talk about Trojan Trek, and my stepdad gets so excited about it, and then my mom is just so curious because she's never been to Trimble before. She's never gone to a big school, so he'll donate. Because it just like once you're at Trimble, you're like Trimble's like your family. You're always going to be a part of Trimble, kind of a situation. So we get a lot of donations through that. But I would say like the businesses are really big, and I find the beggar buckets raise a lot of money.
One of the things that I always associate Trojan Trek with, especially before I became more involved in the school, was the trek part of the Trojan Trek. Talk a little bit about what it happens at that point of the fundraising and the event.
So it's kind of evolved from like when we first started. Before, we used to get the whole school to walk down to the Moncton Hospital. Then later, our school's grown so much that we weren't able to get an escort from the police anymore, so we weren't able to do that. So then we started doing treks around the football field. The amount of times, like maybe we do like 7 turns, however long like it would take for us to actually walk towards the Moncton Hospital. But this year we're switching it up a bit because our school's way bigger. We're doing the winner of each homeroom, right?
Yes. So each homeroom is responsible for raising a certain amount of money. So we have some homerooms who are looking out to certain businesses. We have some who are doing their own separate ideas, and it's kind of like the homeroom's job to like kind of bond and connect and make that way and donate like a certain amount of money for them to have their teacher, like their homeroom represented for their grade. And we also have something cool in our closing ceremonies. If you have not seen it, it is a certain sight, I'm telling you. It's a whole shebang. What we have is each teacher, so we have a Helen and a Paris. So the homeroom teacher that raises the most amount of money gets crowned Helen or Paris. So they get lifted, I'm not even joking, on these wooden boards on a chair. The football boys are carrying them down to the auditorium, and that's how they get crowned.
Yeah, and then they go in there, and then we also have the cheerleaders perform Venus. So like they dance to a song, and then after like they just kind of pose up with Helen and Paris right after.
That is so fun.
Yeah, that's very cool. I like that.
And are there still students who then get to connect with the NICU that you're fundraising for? I know to kick things off, you have a guest speaker come in and talk about the impact of it on a family in the NICU. I know in the past the students used to get to go and visit. Is that something that still happens?
Unfortunately not, just because since COVID, it's been really difficult. It used to be that the student council would go into the NICU and they hold a baby. So we actually have a grad, and she was the baby that the student council in 2008 got to hold.
What?
And now she goes to Trimble. So it's like she did like this awesome speech at our opening assembly and everything. But because of COVID, there's mask mandates, and it's not secure enough for us to go in, unfortunately.
But we do have a new room designated from like all the funds that we've made. So like whenever you have a kid, you can have it's kind of like the lounge room, I guess, for mothers to be. So it's kind of as if like they're at home. So you can still visit there. Like you can see it says like Friends of the Trojans, I'm pretty sure, or like yeah. So like it kind of has like a room that's like named after Trimble that like you can go check out.
Amazing. So you're both graduating this year.
Yes.
When you guys started out at Trimble, did you immediately get involved, or did you find over the years that you were like, this is like by grade 12, I'm going to be running this?
I have always just been very like a spirited person. So I started off with sports. So I play for the girls' football team, rugby team, and basketball team.
Nice.
So I kind of started with getting involved through that and like seeing my teammates be involved. And I was kind of like, oh, I want to be like that. Like, I was so excited. So I started off with like grade reps and like little kind of clubs to get into. But you can only get on student council once you're in grade 12. So it's kind of like your entire high school is leading up to this one moment. Pretty excited.
For me, I have an older sister who was part of like grad council, so like she kind of got me involved. And before, like it kind of changed a bit. We used to have a committee for Trojan Trek, so I've always been dressing up in a toga since grade 9. Actually, like I've gone like door to door, or not door to door. I've done like going beggar buckets during the day. Yeah, so like I've been doing that aspect. I've been doing sports since then, and since like grade 10, I've been doing like grade reps. So
Wow.
That's amazing. Talk a little bit about what you think you're going to take away from this experience as you move on from being actively at Trimble. I know you'll always be part of Trimble.
I feel like for me, it's kind of like you wouldn't hear this, but when I was a kid, I was very shy and kind of quiet, which is really surprising because I'll talk to anyone who'll listen now. But I used to be at the point where I was kind of more reliant on what other people would do. But now I feel like being a part of Trojan Trek and being a part of like Trimble, it's more of a feeling that I can be kind of whoever I want to be. Like, I'll show up to school in a toga. There's no one else is wearing a toga, but I'll wear a toga. And it kind of makes myself look like a lot more going out there and a lot more like not as shy and not as easily embarrassed by things. And I find also that like Trojan Trek, like I've always wanted to be a neurologist. That's always been my dream. But ever since like being so into Trojan Trek and like learning so much about the NICU, like I'm really starting to change my perspective because of like how important I find Trojan Trek is. And I feel like that's not something I would have experienced at any other school.
For me, I just feel like kind of like one of the takeaways that's going to stick with me is just like how everyone kind of gets together for Trojan Trek. Like just, I see so many like kind of people who are kind of in the shadows, like in the school, like they don't really like talk to many people, but they still come out and go to these school events, go to like, we have homecoming tomorrow. Like we have a lot of like, this is just like, it's our biggest week of the whole, or it's our biggest 2 weeks of like the whole school year. And we just see so many people get together for a cause. Like they all like want to work together and donate.
Incredible. Well, I wish you guys the best of luck this year and every year, and all the kids that come up after you guys. I'm sure Clara will be sitting there at some point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if there's anyone who's listening or watching, this will go out before the end of this fundraising season. So if they want to donate, is there a way they can get in touch?
Yeah, so you can actually donate if you come to any football games. We will be there with our buckets. Don't even stress. As well, you can donate on the Friends of the Moncton Hospital website. So there's an area where you can donate to the NICU, but you have to like specifically write for Trojan Trek. So there's a lot of businesses, like bigger businesses, when they donate a lot more money, they'll do it there so then they can get like their tax return and everything. So like if you want to donate, like please just donate. We are looking to raise, last year raised $47,000. So we're looking to raise more than that. We really, it's something that's really important to us. And when you're donating, like you're not just donating to a school, you're donating to an entire, like we are like a community, we are a family. And when we partner with the Moncton Hospital, like that family is like, we are one. So it's very important for us to donate. It's very important for everyone to donate.
Thank you both so much for taking the time out to come and talk to us about this and for being part of this. As someone who spent many weeks in the NICU, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
All right, now that we've learned all about the Trojan Trek, we thought it was time to learn what exactly does all of that money that these kids raised go towards. So we've brought Franz and Katherine in with us today from the Friends of the Moncton Hospital Foundation. Ladies, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
So how do we want to start? Because I know we've got some really cool like Trimble full circle stories. So maybe we'll start with that just to kind of drive that home.
Yeah, so just to put it in perspective, and Abby and Jesse did a really good job of talking about the school spirit and the students behind it. It's been on over for 30 years. So it's not just a continued fundraiser, it's a tradition. And that's what we refer to it internally at the foundation, is a tradition. We don't have many fundraisers that are 30 plus years for the foundation. Foundation is in its 60th year. It's an anniversary year. It's a big year for us. And so Frances just went to her first kickoff assembly, and I tried to prepare her for what was going to happen. Okay. And I remember my first Trojan Trek kickoff assembly. I've been with Friends almost 10 years. And when the patient testimonial went up, it was so powerful because of that person's connection to Trimble. It was very personal, and she had gone to Trimble. And I didn't just cry. I had the full-on ugly cry.
I know.
Yeah. So it's really quite powerful. And we'll get to the use of the proceeds in a minute or two. But then they have the closing ceremony, and I've warned Frances this will be her first one as well, okay? And we've heard a little bit about the ceremony. It's really, they have this whole ceremony that they have. The students are just screaming. I tell them that my ears ring afterwards. So yeah, I researched an article. I started with fundraising for a student, which Jesse and Abby spoke about. But I found an article, it was referring to the 4th Trojan Trek, and at that point it was being dedicated to the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, or NICU, at the Moncton Hospital, and the year was 1989.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of help.
That's many years.
Yeah, well, they're the only school that's on the innovator level on our donor wall, which starts, I think, at 300,000. And yeah, they're approaching the next level.
That's absolutely incredible. And I get goosebumps talking about this because I know what it means to have additional resources in the NICU, and the things that this fundraising goes to does change lives fundamentally. What exactly is the money going towards for those who don't really know when we're talking about this is fundraising for the NICU? What does the NICU need in terms of fundraising money?
There's always priorities, so we work very closely with the NICU team to identify every year what is the new innovative piece of equipment or new space that we need to accommodate. So I had the pleasure to share with the Trojans last week some of the incredible things they've bought over the years, several pieces of equipment, some pouponnières, some incubators, etc. They also have a room that's named after the Trojans, which is a beautiful large room with a kitchenette in the NICU where families can come and spend time together, rest, decompress, while they also are in the vicinity of their young child or children. So we'll determine what that next priority is with our NICU partners, but we're always looking for that next piece of equipment or next thing that will make a difference, not just for the babies, but also for the families who, as you mentioned, sometimes spend a long time in the space and in the hospital.
Yeah, we just opened our obstetrics and newborn unit. You may have heard of that in May. And so Trojan Track, during the years that we were fundraising for that particular new building, raised over $85,000 to go to it, just to put it into perspective. So the impact is just tremendous. And for me, Francis will hear me say, I mean, we're a team of 15 or 16. I will say I have the best gig at the Friends Foundation because I get to work in the community with fundraisers like this. And I get paid to do it. It's really good. And it truly is an example. I get quite passionate about it. It truly is an example of youth being leaders, and not just in their school or within their own social groups, but in the community. Because the reality is, they talked about their beggar buckets and different activities. Well, you're not hanging out at recess time or popping over to McDonald's at lunchtime or whatever that young people do, which is fabulous. Don't get me wrong, but they decide, and it is a choice and it is a priority to do something that gives back. So it's an investment of time, and it's a priority for them. So I think that's a shout out to those students. Yeah.
Good. I was just going to say, I also find it impressive because there are a lot of teens that wouldn't even know what a NICU is. Their families wouldn't have had to use one. We all say that everybody's got a connection to the unit. Like 10, whatever the million degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
In London, it's probably 3.
If we're lucky. So anyway, it's nice to see that they get so involved and so passionate, and maybe it's because of the assemblies that are teaching them these incredible machines that have been in these places, not had to use them, but been in them, and these machines are saving babies' lives, and they're helping do that.
At the end of the day, it's about community. I joke with Abby and Jesse. I went to another high school and we didn't have this spirit at all. I won't mention it. But the fact is I've been so impressed by not just the spirit that they bring, but the sense of community. And really to tackle some of the biggest issues we're seeing, healthcare being some of them, we need that community sense. And to have kids involved so early in working together on a joint cause to help people that they connect with. And there's probably more students that were in the NICU than they probably know that's been impacted or will impact. And I think they bring that with them as they graduate and move on in their life and become different professionals, is really that sense of community, which is so critical and so special about Moncton. It really is 2 or 3 degrees of separation, but that's one of our superpowers, that we're able to sort of tackle things together. And I think this is just a perfect example how Harrison Trimble has a long history of that. And I wish, more of us were sort of spirited in that way so that we could come together and have such an impact. So.
Well, and I think it's so important to not to overlook the importance of the awareness piece of this. Like you kind of touched on it there, but I do a lot of advocacy work in the premature world. And a lot of what we do nationally is just try to raise the profile so people understand how common this actually is in our country. And the fact that, 1 in 10 babies do come early. and will spend time in a NICU more than likely. And when young people have an understanding of at least the name NICU and what it means, that goes such a long way if you're the person who ends up there.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that statistics because it's more common than what people think. And it's not, certainly it's babies at risk who are born early, very early in some cases, or with a condition that needs to be taken care of, they're ill. But it's also for babies that maybe come out and their lungs are not fully developed or they're struggling to breathe. So there's some things that will be okay in a day or two, but this is where they go for that care. The neonatal intensive care unit at the Moncton Hospital is also a referral center. We, southeastern New Brunswick, northern Nova Scotia, and PEI. So families are referred to the neonatal unit, and the families come here and spend time in here. And as you know, personally, it can be weeks in some cases. So it's a critical role, not just in Moncton, but throughout southeastern New Brunswick and northern Nova Scotia and PEI. Yeah.
And for those who aren't really aware, it's incredibly special that we have this level of care here for those of us who are local in our backyard. It completely changed our experience that we had the level of care here. And we only have that level of care because of things like Trojan Trek that are helping raise the money to buy the extra equipment and to have, like you say, it all comes back to that sense of community. If you don't have the community support, you don't have that sense of community necessarily within the staff, within the, it all comes together to be just such a magical thing that I am forever grateful for.
Magical is a good word. Frances and I have been talking about full circle moments. We have a nurse at the neonatal intensive care unit that was a student and became a nurse in NICU because of her Trojan Trek experience. She was one of the student council members that went into the NICU, and it was a doctor at the time, a neonatologist, who spoke to her, and he could see her reaction, and he said, "There's a career shadow day. Would you like to come?" And she said yes. So she shadowed him for a day, and today she's in the neonatal intensive care unit working.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It is.
So if all these stories are giving you goosebumps like they are me, and you're like, yeah, I have a few dollars or a few thousand, whatever it is you have that you might want to give, friends, how do they get in touch and make sure they make a donation?
Yeah, absolutely. So on our website, under community, there's a special page that they can give. We will also give a tax receipt for those advantages. We're also on Facebook and all the other social media. And Catherine?
Yeah, friendsfoundation.ca is the website. And if you go on a page in our community, Trojan Trek is listed there. What's beautiful about that page, and it's already raised $575, guys, so you can give. It'll be open after the kickoff, or this is closing assembly, later this month on the 23rd of October. We'll keep it open for a while. So if you see this podcast and you want to give, you'll still have some time to do it, and you get a charitable receipt for donations over $5 by email. So it happens very quickly. We know we have an impending postal strike.
Yeah.
So you can call in your donation, 506-857-5488. You can go online. You can come to the kiosk in the main lobby. And you can also contact the school as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time. This has been great.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure to be here.
And thank you all for watching and listening. And a reminder that we will do this all again next week.